Peace and Pan-Africanism. So brothers and sisters, we must reflect on 157 years of Juneteenth. Now let me clarify for you. Juneteenth, June 19th, 1865, when General Gordon Granger read Special Order Number 3, emancipating all Africans in Texas held in bondage, I need you to understand, this was not when our ancestors learned that slavery was over. This was not when our ancestors learned that the Emancipation Proclamation had already been issued more than 2 years ago. That's not correct. Juneteenth was not a notification day. Juneteenth was not a information day. Juneteenth, as it was called, was Emancipation Day because black troops showed up to emancipate their brethren who were still enslaved. I need y'all to understand this. Black men showed up in Texas ready for war. They showed up in Texas ready for war. That's why it was called Emancipation Day. It wasn't called Juneteenth. It was emancipate. They came to emancipate their brothers and sisters through force of arms. That's what that was about. That was a get down or lay down. That's we are here and we ain't leaving till every African is free. That's what June 19th was about, brothers and sisters. So let us reflect on 157 years since we were all free, right? 157 years since we were all free. Now, technically, we were not legally free. We were temporarily free. We didn't get legally free until the 13th Amendment. That didn't come until December. We didn't get legally free until the 13th Amendment. That didn't come until December. We didn't get legally free until the 13th Amendment. That didn't come until December. Be careful about the 40 acres and a mule. Be careful about the 40 acres and a mule. That was a military wartime provision that a general issued for those enslaved Africans that were under his command. That was never a federal executive order. There was no federal executive order or congressional bill for 40 acres and a mule. Okay, that never applied to all of us everywhere. That's why we have to know our history. That's why we have to know our history. Update on the FDMG festival. Update on FDMG versus Wilmington DE. Update on FDMG versus Wilmington DE. The update is this. We were informed that the Director of Cultural Affairs for the Office of the Mayor received a mystery application to hold a festival on the street in front of the FDMG campus. And for those of you who were at the campus last year for our historic festival, you know that we own the entire block. You know that we own the entire block. Facebook, I think Mark Zuckerberg is at it again. Let me try Facebook again. But we were informed that they received a mystery application on April the 30th. Early afternoon, April the 30th. They received a mystery application to hold a block party on the street in front of FDMG on Saturday, April the 30th, for Saturday, September the 10th. I sent an email to Miss Tiffany Christopher on Tuesday, May the 2nd or 3rd, at around in the morning time. So in essence, I'm being told that somebody could read my mind. Somebody has some sort of telepathy powers. They were able to read my mind, and they knew that I was sending an email to Miss Tiffany Christopher on May the 3rd, informing her that we were going to hold our festival on September 10th. And because they could read my mind and they had these special telepathy powers, they sent in an application 63 hours before my email notification. Because they can read my mind and somehow knew I was going to send Miss Tiffany Christopher an email on May the 3rd, informing her that we will hold our festival on September 10th. Somebody was able to read my mind, and so they sent in an application 63 hours before me. No disrespect to either one of those sisters. No disrespect to either one of those sisters who I believe are deliberately trying to sabotage the festival. I believe that they deliberately tried to sabotage the festival last year as well. Okay, we didn't get our festival permit last year until like a day before the fest. I do believe this is deliberate attempt to sabotage the festival, but I do not believe for 1 minute. I do not believe for 1 minute that it was such a coincidence that the last festival was September. You've had October, November, December, January, February, March, April. You waited 7 months to fill out an application to hold a festival in front of my school, and you filled out your application 63 hours before I served notice that we would be having a fest on September 10th. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Nobody's going to convince me that somebody coincidentally beat us by 2.5 days. Nobody's going to convince me that somebody coincidentally beat us by 2.5 days to the date. And even if they beat us to the date, that's our property. That's our campus. How can you let somebody set up in front of a school? So you're telling me when the school is up and running and we have children on the campus and we come outside to do an activity with our students, we can be met by strangers telling us they have a permit to hold an event? Are you telling me when a school is operating and we come outside to do event with our young men and later our young women, we can be met by strangers who tell us we have a permit to hold an event in front of your school? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Is there any precedent for people holding block parties on other people's blocks where they don't live or operate? Why can't this mystery organization be forced to hold their event at a public park? You are an investor. Tell them I am one of several investors in the FDMG Academy, and we do not appreciate the discrimination, the blatant discrimination, unprofessionalism, and disrespect that is being shown to our school. We are planning to hold a festival on September 10th, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Please clear up the date to prevent any issues on that day. Please clear up the date to prevent any issues on that day, because we do plan to show up and show out on September 10th. We do plan to show up and show out on September 10th. We will be in Wilmington, Delaware at our school on September 10th. Tell them to clear the date. DR.UMAR is not in Wilmington to get involved in your city or your politics. He is here to operate a school for the children. But I'm trusting in the mayor. I think he realizes that this is ridiculous. I think the mayor of Wilmington knows that this is absolutely ridiculous to let somebody pull up in front of his school, hold a festival, don't even tell him who it is, and then claim that they sent their application in 2.5 days before he notified you. It just so happens they sent their application in on the Saturday prior to the Tuesday. Brothers and sisters, hit the Cash App for FDMG. Hit the Cash App for FDMG, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App for FDMG, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App for $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, International Africans, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG. Excuse me. Yes, PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. or cash.me/FDMG school. Cash.me/FDMG school. Hit the Cash App for the Shockumentary, the documentary of the millennium. Hit the Cash App. Shockumentary Cash Apps, go to $DrUmarJohnson. Make sure you put Johnson. $DrUMAR is a fraudulent account. $DrUmarJohnson for the Shockumentary. PayPal.me/Umar the psychologist for the Shockumentary. 215-989-9858. Send your Zelle donations. Send your Zelle donations. 215-989-9858. Send your Zelle donations. 215-989-9858. Zelle donations for the Shockumentary. We must resist oppression and racism. 157 years later, our ancestors are not happy with us. 157 years later, our ancestors are not happy with us. Ladies, my birthday gifts. Ladies, you can start sending your birthday gifts to King Kong Consciousness. July 22nd, Leo season begins. I will accept birthday gifts beginning July 22nd. I will be spending my birthday at Nat Turner Land, where I've spent it every August the 21st, but I wasn't there last year because I was with Jacob Blake's father in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Last August the 21st, 2021, I was with Jacob Blake's family in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And then I drove on down with my security team from Gary, Indiana, Brother Dennis and Company. And then we drove down to Gary, Indiana, Brother Dennis and Company, my security team. We drove down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my security team from Gary, Indiana. We drove down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I gave a birthday lecture in Milwaukee. Shout out to my Milwaukee, Wisconsin Africans. Shout out to my Milwaukee, Wisconsin Africans. Shout out to my Milwaukee, Wisconsin Africans. And I want you to join me as we honor Nat Turner, brothers and sisters, the greatest black revolutionary to ever walk on American soil. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the greatest revolutionary to ever walk on Haitian soil. And that's why we have the Dessalines Turner Gymnasium. And that's why we have the Dessalines Turner Gymnasium. And that's why we have the Dessalines Turner Gymnasium. Today in Charlotte, I'm going to say what the ancestors put on my heart, but I'm going to talk to the parents about the psychoacademic Holocaust. I'm going to say whatever the ancestors, I'm going to be outside in the sun. I'm going to be under the sun right before Leo season. I'm fasting, so I'm a little weak. So ladies, I need a few hugs to get some energy. My queens of Carolina, I need you to give me a hug because I need some of your divine ashe. This is consciousness. This is not cookies, okay? This is politics, okay? But I need my queens of Carolina to give me some energy while I'm fasting so I can deliver the message. So I can deliver the message. Speaking of Nat Turner weekend in Virginia. Speaking of Nat Turner weekend in Virginia. Who got the finest women, North Carolina or South Carolina? Who got the finest women, North Carolina or South Carolina? Who got the finest women, North Carolina? I'm just kidding. Let's refocus. I'm just kidding. Let's refocus. They both got fine women. All black sisters are fine. All black sisters are fine. The Shockumentary is about the war against black boys, psychoacademic Holocaust. The Shockumentary is about the war against black boys. If you have a testimonial, if you have a story about what the public, charter, private, parochial, independent school did to your son or daughter, if you have a story about what the public schools did to your child, I don't care if they were beat up by the police, suspended unnecessarily, put on ADHD meds, misdiagnosed as retarded, misdiagnosed as autistic, misdiagnosed as intellectually disabled, misdiagnosed as emotionally disturbed, misdiagnosed as reading disabled, thrown in juvenile hall, expelled from the school, called the N-word, punched by a teacher. If you have a story for the shockumentary, text me your name and city. If you have a story and you're willing to be interviewed. A lot of y'all scared. A lot of people I called who said they would be interviewed for the shockumentary, they backing out now. A lot of parents who said they wanted to be interviewed for the shockumentary, they backing out now. A lot of teachers, a lot of principals, a lot of judges, a lot of attorneys.